some of this data is going beyond, whatever our dimension is, and may be significantly influencing another somewhere else. Everything kind of averages. So maybe in a different dimension, there's another United States somewhere that's like, yo, why we keep cleaning, and maybe not beyond. Maybe beyond is in a different direction. If you're at the center of something, beyond could be north, could be east, could be west, could be south. Maybe beyond is back to the dinosaurs, Whoa, pause. Think about everything I said. If what we're doing now is going to influence maybe 40-40 or, something, 50-50, because of time travel, you got to think our choices now. Look at probability and statistics. What's sabermetrics and stoichiometrics, and it's real. And when I took stats, all you needed was a sample or a population N of 4 or 3.2 or something for it to be. And I've seen the data for it to be pretty similar to a sample of 10 or 100 or 1,000. You don't need a lot. Think about it. 50-50. What we're doing now, if we're time traveling, is who knows? We got Wi-Fi. Now I'm gonna kind of get a little creative. We got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, great. Maybe that's how time travels beyond somewhere else. Oh, Wilfredo, are you saying that No, I'm just saying who knows? Maybe in space or something. I mean, right? We got the United States Supreme Court, which is great. It would appear that given the United States continues another 245 years or 2,450 years, we may continue with the idea, the premise of continuing to love the United States Constitution. That thing protects anything and everything. Shout out to the United States. Here's the thing. If that is so, and we have time travel, would it not also maybe appear that this premise maybe continued to be disputed, kind of like Family Feud, right? In Jay-Z's song. Family Feud might be, in 50-50, someone might be like, so we got time travel. What do we do? Because we're not trying to go back, because maybe we can't get back to this exact same time. 50-50, if we send them back to 2018 AD, they might go back to 50-50 slightly different. Or 50-50 slightly more different. It makes sense when you don't have to say 50-50A or 50-50B. When you're using variables, you got to keep it relevant. Math and science has to stay relevant. So, it could be 50-50. I was gonna say a joke, but I won't say that. Anyways, I'm gonna retract that. Point of clarification. Let's go back. It would appear that maybe, who knows? So how do you influence the past? Well, right now what we're doing is we got satellites and got music. Maybe, who knows? Maybe that's, think about it. Where's the soul? It's not on the internet. Maybe it's in a different dimension. Maybe it's, I don't know. But think of it. Maybe we're having these same conversations in the future. And we're like, because we know what I do now might significantly influence something beyond ahead or beyond to the east or beyond to the west of this dimension or to the south of this dimension. Maybe what I decide when I think, if we're talking about time travel in an object or an individual, this individual has a soul, right? This individual is made up of stardust, neurons, protons, isotopes, elements and compounds, energy, stars. We are stardust. United States citizens, any individual in this universe, as far as we know, because we have to go with what's established. That's the beauty of the Constitution. It's like, hey, you have to have this ethos. You got to maintain this clarity. You got to, got to promote that. Got to be clear. That's the beauty of it. I love being a Yankee. I love being from Connecticut. Shout out to the Sherman Compromise. Shout out to 68 with the minimum sentencing. And 88, I think it was, with domestic violence. And Dodd-Frank recently, Maybe literally where you stand on the planet, on the globe, in the universe, may significantly influence the energy or the stardust or whatever you want to call it inside your body that will significantly influence your soul. I mean, we call that jurisdiction. We have state mandates, federal mandates. We call it democracy. Some may call it something else, right? Talked about, warfare somewhere else. I mean, it's all stardust. It's all energy. It's perception. So what do we do? The point is, this is important. The eye of the storm, energy, the H, all that will average somewhere. Path of least resistance, or maybe not. Maybe the path of most density. Because when it's more dense, it takes more energy. It doesn't have to always be the thinnest, you look at you look at a brown paper bag and look at, a plastic bag. Energy, temperature, all these things. It's not clearly you see where I'm going with this? This is important. So the idea that I want to leave you with so you can think about is, in the future we might be having these same discussions, not like, hey, let's use more or less. Or personally, I'm like, give them both. It's culture shock. You can Venn diagram sunrise and sunset things and sort of say, all right, cool. Like a work week, we're gonna phase this out, but phase it out by an hour. Right? My friend says bissel by bissel, ganzen gan schissel, I think it is. Little by little the pail fills up. I'm non-denominational Christian, by the way. So God bless to everyone. Even the agnostics. Agnostics are probably just upset because they trying to prove something, yet not prove something, yet still prove something else, yet feel how I want to feel. It's just, anyways. So bissel by bissel, ganzen gan schissel, right? Little by little the pail fills up. Hannah Caswell told me that. Shout out to West David. Here's the thing. If we can move beyond, and we presume time travel is a real thing, maybe, because we can move beyond the sound. So if we had something that can propel us and have the right environment, meaning maybe less inertia, maybe we can continue to propel at the rate of light, right? Yet it would appear that given the data, if we continue to keep, managing protocol or something, we might be able to continue somehow beyond that light. So what the hell, right? Then we're like, well, now we're talking about, I don't want to call it thing. Listen. My dad's brown, right? I don't know if I'm black. My dad's brown. I'm Puerto Rican. I look white. Here's the thing, right? Born in Connecticut, Bridgeport, Connecticut. Shout out to them. Went to aquaculture, Harding High School. Here's the thing. Using the word black gets people upset. Not even just everybody, certain individuals. Instead of using black, it's substitute for dark matter. No one wants to mess with burnt toast, right? Black people get upset. They just get upset because of this whatever. It's important, but Confederate war was a real thing, right? It wasn't a simulation or anything. And then before that we had all these other things and all that. Talking about energy, certain environments, it's a real thing. If you can feel cold, then you might be able to feel intuition just by standing near someone. You might be able to pick up, from pheromones or something. You might be. It really is. With this concept, you can almost prove luck. I mean, in college at UConn, there was this whole 1970s, 1980s. Apparently it was real prejudice that the housing. It was basically gerrymandering, which I still don't understand. How is that cool? Yet the whole housing thing in the 80s, I think it was completely prejudiced and wrong. It's the same shit. It really is. It really, really is. Seriously, it really is. Seriously. Here's the thing, though. If depending, like white flight or the Puerto Rican paradox, or depending on how many brown or dark individuals are within the environment, that equation is influenced. And mind you, these individuals have energy. Skin is this armor. All right. So if you want to start disputing, blah blah blah, promote it as armor. Look at the Asari and Mass Effect or whatever. Look at someone seriously. Defense from cancer. Put it out there. Although I will say this, burnt toast is difficult to consume and absorb. So consider that too. Consider it. Neural pathways scab after a while because of too much energy. Look, if you ever had like a brownout or a blackout, or had, you bought the what's the names with the jewels because the power strips. You can have frayed. Your spinal cord can get frayed. It's just almost the same thing. Fiber optic cable and all that stuff gets frayed too. I mean, it happens. So consider that. Consider it. It's armor, although, there's always two sides to every dispute. And also, here's a concern. If it takes more energy to get something a little bit brown or browner, for even if it's like, very like transparent, right? Like toast. Consider this. The leaves start to fall on this planet because it starts to go from like green to red, orange, yellow, then brown. Meaning, because this individual didn't get enough energy, now this individual has to hibernate a little bit. So, it kind of makes sense once you start to say, well, let's look at the density. How much, and at aquaculture, I think we took like Cheetos or something. With like the Panther or whatever it is, with the sunglasses. And it was like, okay, well, you have to heat it up and see what was the endothermic, which should be endothermis, because I think the C is condescending, but the S is like to build up, like biologist or something, you know what I mean? Anyways, endothermic or exothermic reaction, right? It would appear that, at least on this planet, maybe for the rest of the entire universe, depending on where you stand, will change your mood, will significantly influence the neurochemistry, will significantly influence, if you're absorbing enough energy